Counselor Accents Podcast. Two school counselors who love their jobs. Oh, and they happen to have Southern accents too. Bless their hearts.
I'm Laura Rankler.
And I am Kim Crumley. And together we are Counselor Accents, two school counselors who are in the trenches with you.
We know what you're going through because we're living it every single day.
It's just being together has thrown me.
It took me a minute.
We are in our brand new office.
I don't know if people are watching this or not, but it's like I want to tell them that it's
campy. It's campy. All I can say is it's campy.
Well, it reminds us of one of our favorite places, and that's why we love it so much.
It's like you have stepped back in time with this wood paneling, and should we paint it? No, because
it's going to come back in style.
And one of our favorite places is the Grand Hotel in Fairhope, Alabama. And it is like a step back in time. So we are a step back in time, and definitely our office is in a step back in time. So this is the first time that we've got to be in our office and do our podcast.
Yes, we're so excited to have
and the sound is awful, but I want to say we're going to get this finished.
We say it every week.
But I have been told that we could put sound panels in and a rug and different things.
And I see your microphone on the table up there, which is an improvement.
We're not at using least it in the room.
We're not using it, but yeah, it's here. So I feel very optimistic.
Yes. So this is we've been working all day in our office, and maybe we'll do a tour one day of the whole thing. But we have taken Post-its and placed them all around the room and with all the different things. And so that's what we've been working on today. And it's been so much fun.
We're excited. So we have not gotten together or had a conversation with our audience since fall break, where you took this dream trip.
I did. I took a dream trip.
You took your parents on this trip.
I did.
So the whole thing was intriguing to me.
Absolutely.
You took this tour
of New England.
Uh-huh.
And so I take my mother, as you know, every year. And since COVID, we had not been on a big trip. And so, but generally that's our plan, is once a year I take my mom on a week-long trip somewhere. So we've been to some great places, and we both are big history people. So we've done some fun history trips and different things. So anyway, she had never been to Vermont, and since it was fall, she wanted to go to Vermont.
I hear the leaves are beautiful.
Oh my goodness, yes, they are. They're gorgeous. So our Vermont friends, hello, our Vermont friends. Especially our Vermont friends that helped us edit our book.
Oh, goodness. We owe you.
Maureen, thank you. So anyway, my dad was looking very pitiful, and this was a big trip. And so we broke our rule, and we asked my dad to go with us. So unbeknownst, is that a word, to my dad and mom, is because it's fall in New England, I had booked really in advance. So my dad going was a new kink in this whole plan, because then I had to call every bed and breakfast to tell them, bed and breakfast, you don't bring hotel, you can sneak another person in. Right. They don't care.
Right.
But a bed and breakfast, you can't sneak a person in. It's like, hell, they show up at breakfast, right? The next morning. It's like, And so I had to call every place, and everybody was it just kind of worked out. Either they helped me find something else, or, they were able to open up another room. If something worked out, it was just wonderful. And even the place in Vermont, and this was supposed to be in Stowe, Vermont. So I know we have Vermont listeners, and Stowe is the quintessential fall town. Like, that is the poster that you see up for America fall foliage.
Oh, wow.
So Stowe, Vermont is the place. So we literally went all over New England. Every state in New England we hit. So we drove quite a piece across the state of Vermont to get to Stowe, Vermont. But let me back up on when I called the bed and breakfast in Vermont. The man's name was Handsome Bob.
That was really his name.
That's why he told me to call him.
Okay. I hope Handsome Bob is not listening.
I have changed the name because I'm scared of him, but it's
Okay.
very close to Bob.
Okay.
Handsome Bob tells me, call him Handsome Bob. And I thought, this is so cute. All I can picture is the Bob Newhart
Yes.
in Vermont.
Perfect.
He's
Yeah.
Handsome Bob. And I tell him, I want to bring my parents, Bob, but you have us booked in a room with 2 twins. He said, you're not going to find another place in Stowe. He said, so I'm going to open up the bunkhouse for you. He said, I use it only in the winter when skiers come. He said, so I'm going to open up the bunkhouse for you. It's not a little, I'm just picturing me being this big bunkhouse by myself, but I thought one night I can do anything.
Sounds like an adventure.
It does. It sounds like an adventure.
I'd say yes.
Well, Handsome Bob texted quite a bit and called my school.
Oh.
Yeah. And I thought,
wait.
Called my school.
When you were there.
While I had not left yet, he started the relationship with everybody. He starts the relationship with my secretary. She's called him Handsome Bob. Hey, Handsome Bob called, and it's just kind of, whatever.
So you have not left for your trip yet.
Handsome Bob is already calling. We formed a relationship. And you know me, I'm like, me and Handsome Bob's best friends.
Oh, yeah.
So we stayed, I think, in maybe where LL Bean is, the store, that big store, and I think it's not in Newport, Northport, something like that. Everything's a port up there because it's up the coast. So then we head across to Vermont. It's late, and we get to Stowe, and I have it in my GPS. I'm past Stowe, and I'm going up into the mountains, and he calls. Handsome Bob calls. And I am a little less into this whole, now I'm getting a little nervous. And it's getting dark. And he calls and he says, where are you? This is Handsome Bob. And I said, I'm about 5 minutes away. He said, you're 6 minutes away.
How did he know?
I don't know. So my mother and daddy are looking at each other like, what has Kim drug us into? So we drive up, and it is past Stowe. It is past Stowe up into the rural area. Okay. And I'm still very optimistic, and it's getting that not quite dark. So we drive up, and I'm thinking I'm seeing what I'm seeing, but it's just this rambling house where you're not sure where the door is. Okay. But Handsome Bob comes out. He has food on his belly and his beard. Oh, yes. Very unkempt, if you will.
Handsome Bob.
But like a moth to the flame, I do not turn my car around and leave. I paid for this, and this is an expensive trip.
Okay.
So I'm like, I can do anything for one night. So he meets us at the door, and he goes, greeting. He talks like that, like, greetings, welcome, if you'll enter the parlor. There's no parlor. There's no parlor. The door's off the hinges.
Oh my word.
It looks like this wood paneling when I walk in. It's like I had walked in this vibe that we have going. It's like dirty Afghans from the 70s is his decor. The TV is blasting. He's talking about, like, I bet you like to watch, and he knows things that are local to us. It's like he has studied me.
Oh my goodness.
So he says, we pass through what is the kitchen, and I'm using quotes, and he has a collection of refrigerators, not matching refrigerators, just a collection of old refrigerators. And he says, would you like to chill anything? And my dad leans into my ear and said, yeah, like beside your dead wife that you have put in the refrigerator. So we're like, no, thanks. He said, would you like tea? Which is cracking me up. What are we going to drink out of? The dirty dishes?
A Snoopy cup from
I
1920.
know. Seriously, now you get the picture.
Yeah.
He says, points to where we're going to have breakfast in the morning. He said, we're going to eat between 8:15 and 8:30. And he points to the breakfast area, which, if I'm lying, I'm dying, is a picnic table on block. So I am like, of course we're not, of course we are all like, we all have, I could see my parents, like all the blood has drained from their faces. But again, we continue on the tour.
And you're thinking, it's got to be good. It's got to be.
Well,
It's
I
gonna
mean,
get
I'm
better.
telling you, I'm thinking how we can get out here alive.
Okay.
His son, I'm assuming, walks through in his sweatpants and sweatshirt, reaches in the ice, like opens the ice thing up in the one of the 4 refrigerators, puts his hand in, pulls out ice, and drops it into a cup.
No.
So anyway,
you're allegedly supposed to stay
in this
with the family.
With the family. So he said, let me take you to the master suite. Now, I had been told, he thinks this is an upgrade. When it was my mom and I, it was 2 twin beds. I shiver to think. But now we've been upgraded to the master suite for my parents.
So at this point, were you still thinking I need to get out? Or maybe the master suite, maybe you're going to open the door and it's going to be.
No. Oh,
right.
I am like, how am I going to get out of here? But I can't get out of the tour.
Yeah.
So he takes us into the master suite. And you know when a bed is not made up, it's just thrown over the pillows.
Uh-huh.
And just family pictures and clothes are in this room. And he said, you have your own bathroom. Like that is going to be the selling point. So we walk back into, I am not sure what parlor this is because there were parlors. So this is another part of the rambling house that we go back into, another TV blaring. And he says, my dad said, well, where is she staying? I don't know if he thinks I'm going to make us stay there. Like his daughter, my 70-something-year-old dad's going to get. He said, where is she going to stay?
Talking about you.
Yeah, pointing to me. Where is she going to stay? And he said, patience.
And that is what we're going to start saying to each other. The fact that you haven't already been saying that.
Well, I haven't got to tell you this full story
What a missed
yet.
opportunity.
It's patience. And I'm like, we're so excited to see what is in store for my room.
So at this point, were you giddy with excitement about retelling this story, or were you just
No. And that's going to be the next part of my story,
okay.
The feeling that overcomes me. So anyway, I have ceased to call him Handsome Bob. We're not even that. I'm not the giddy, chuckle, we're best friends. I am like shut down. All the blood is drained from my body. So we go up the stairs, and all I remember about the stairs is there were no car. It was just like planks for wood. I don't know. But as we went up them, I'm not kidding you. I am not like. He said, my daughter will no longer be visiting this weekend, so you're going to be in her room. And we're going to be sharing a bathroom.
Oh.
So I pass Handsome Bob's room. His bed is completely unmade, door wide open. And the bathroom is between his bedroom and my bedroom. So we go into the daughter's bedroom, and her picture is hanging on the wall from 1980s. I'm not kidding you. The hair, the hair up, and it's the over the shoulder look. You know how the 80s would be really weird, those photos. That's hanging. And so we go in, and he said, she collects blankets. And this bed was covered in nothing but just filthy blankets.
Oh,
just
goodness.
Blanket upon blanket upon blanket upon blanket upon blanket. And I am like, we're going to go get something to eat. So we creak back down the stairs, and the back of his house was on a river. So the river was beautiful. So we stepped out thinking, I'm not going back through this rambling house. I'm going out the nearest door, which is out back. And then I'm headed to the front of the house, and we're out of here. So I go out the door and I say, we're going to get something to eat, hoping Handsome Bob, allows us to leave. It's like we're at the Hotel California. And I said, can I just walk around? And he goes, I wouldn't. Just like that. Just like that. I wouldn't. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't know what was around there. It was grown up. It was a nightmare. So anyway, we get back in the car. Nobody says anything. It's like we are, when that old feeling comes over you, the funk that comes over you, like you can feel the oppressiveness. It came over all of us. Like we were just like not speaking at all. We were just in this daze. So we go back, and I've driven all day long. It's getting dark. I really don't know anything about this area. They said, I know that there's a mountain that we can go over to the next town, but that just sounds scary in itself, going over the mountain.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll just tell, not to hurt your feelings, Laura, but I might as well have been in the backwater in Tennessee. I mean, I'm telling you. So we go down to a hotel, down back into Stowe, and I'm just aimless at this point. So I just walk into this hotel, and I'm like, do you have anything? No, and they're not. And they were kind of like chuckling at me, and they were like, no. They could see the distressed presence that I was. So they said, we're going to help you find something. They found, like, I'm not kidding you, like a Motel 6 or something. I was going to have to drive an hour and a half, and it was going to cost me like $400. So I get back in the car, and I'm like, that's defeating the purpose of even us driving all day to get to Stowe.
Yeah.
So I'll lift up a prayer, open up Hotels Tonight, and put in, and automatically something comes up that we see across the road. Like I see the place across the road, and I'm like, I grabbed it, and it was the Bluebird. It is a motor lodge, but it's a delightful motor lodge. It's $480 on Hotels Tonight. Yes. Everything, because it's fall in New England, right? So I grab it, and I walk in to that place, and I went up to the man, and by this point I've lost all color. I'm like, and I said, please tell me this is real. Please tell me I have not spent this money for yet another fiasco. And he said, absolutely. He said, somebody just canceled and you popped up immediately. I asked no questions. I did not tell them anything about my party. So all they know is it's me. They don't know. I take it. And he gives me chocolates. This man gives me chocolates. He can see I'm very upset, So we go into the room at the motor lodge, and it is like a queen size
for the three of y'all.
For the three of us.
You, your mom, and your dad.
Me and my mom and my dad. So if you will, Laura, I want you to picture 3 people and me in the middle, the 55-year-old with the 2 70-something-year-olds, all squeezed up in bed together. And I am holding on for dear life to my mother and my dad's hand, because I was still Handsome Bob's coming to get me. It became humorous. Even that night we started like chuckling a little bit about it, and by the next morning the humor of it, us all laying in bed together, we kept going. But I forgot to tell this part. I called my husband and I said, Philip, you're going to have to do something about the Bob. I'm not calling back. I'm not going back. I said, so somebody probably needs to tell him, or he may have, somebody had to tell Handsome Bob. So he said, I'll call Handsome Bob and I'll deal with it. I said, then you delete. I'm blocking him, and I want you to block him. And Philip said, that's when I found out. He said, he's been calling me all day. Where is she? He had been calling my school.
Oh my goodness.
So my nieces and nephews and adult child all were like, Kim, how did you miss it? Like, so they looked at the pictures and they looked at the reviews, I don't know how this happened, but his reviews were from 1980 and they were bad.
Oh
I
my
don't know how I
goodness.
missed that. I saw a place in Stowe. It looked campy, and I'm like, that's fine. It was not fine. It's a cautionary tale. So the rest of the trip, I was so nervous about every single bed and breakfast we went to, because in New England, I mean, some of those places you're staying there are 1700s, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I have no idea. Everything else was delightful, beyond delightful, but that was
That is a story.
horrific. And then I have not saw it. I've heard there's a commercial about, I think it's Verbo or maybe it's a hotel. I don't know who does the commercial where they go in and it's like they collect dolls and they leave the house screaming. I've not saw that commercial, but that's what this was. I didn't even try to get my money back. I didn't give the man. I want no part of Handsome Bob. I do not want him to know anything about me. I keep waiting for him to show up. And this was at Halloween time. So everything, and it's in New England.
Yeah.
So everything has that feel anyway. That's what I'm going to say.
Woo.
That's all I'm going to say right there. I've been to Salem, on this trip, and I felt like, okay, this is scary stuff. Anyway, Laura, I'm back. We are back at it. I am back from my trip. You went on a cruise.
I did.
And I hope your cruise was as delightful as my New England trip.
I don't know that it measured up to your experience, but we had a wonderful time. And I feel terrible that you were struggling through, like, barely made it out alive.
I have thought about how much that would cost to stay there, like how much you'd have to pay me to stay there. It would be substantial.
Yeah.
But I will tell this, and I don't know if you know this. This is another little thing from our trip. While we were in Boston, at the front of the Freedom Trail, we went into like where you start, it's like a little info center. And the guy says, "Hey, y'all are from Alabama," and they're from Alabama. People, you're like, well, how would I know the other person from Alabama?
Yeah.
We literally looked over, and they were like, "Well, hi, Mr. Hook," which is my dad. And he drove his bus. My dad had drove his bus years before. So, I mean, what are the odds? Stuff like that. That's fun. But, we had a really good time. And you had a good time on your cruise.
We had a good time. Yep. It was our first cruise, so we did not know what to expect. And I just imagined all of us going overboard. I had Googled statistics.
No, you have not. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just picturing like a little boat that everybody's just falling off.
Yes.
Because it happens.
19 people a year go missing on cruise ships. And I just thought, well, we're four out of the 19.
We're in.
So, I had Googled the statistics and safety and everything, but it was wonderful. It was so much fun. I will say that there were so many times that I thought, man, if Kim were here, we would be having the best time, which we did have the best time. But
if you were with me.
Well, the thing is,
you better say.
I know how you and I both love theater. We love Broadway shows.
Yes.
So we went to the shows that the cruise ship offers. And I was expecting like Fox Theater.
You were expecting Wicked. You were expecting Wicked, yes.
And so that's what I imagined. And then these people come running out. And I'm like, okay, there's a difference between cruise ship performers.
And you're like, you just served me my ice cream that I got when and now you're up doing a Broadway number.
And it's so true. And there were a couple of people that I thought, okay, there had to have been a performer that got sick just now, and this is the stage hand that they said, okay, you'll do. But one of the things that was really funny is before the cruise began, like months before, you can get on Facebook and join a group of people that are going on your exact cruise.
Oh, okay.
So people start to post, hey, what's everybody wearing? What are you bringing?
Are you serious?
Yeah. So it's like you get to know people before you get on the cruise. So there
I did Handsome Bob.
Like you did Handsome Bob.
Did I really know Handsome Bob?
Well, there was this one woman that started to stand out pretty soon on. Like she was posting a lot of things like, all right, fess up, who all single, ready to mingle. And so then people were posting things and you take a look at her. Somebody said, well, I want to know who all the hot moms are. So she posts her picture, and I mean, I guess hot is relative. I don't know if she meant temperature. I don't know if she was
I guess
thinking
handsome's relative.
Handsome's relative. So she posted her picture, and I admire the confidence.
That's all I'm going to say right there.
But the people that we went with, I'm going to turn everything into a game.
Yeah.
So I said, if you can get a picture with her in the background, that's worth 1 point. If you get a picture with her, that's 5 points. And we're going to see who can get the most points. Turns out we were not the only ones doing that on the cruise. Everybody on the cruise that had been in that Facebook group, they
had decided we're playing the game.
They were playing the same game. Yes. And so she decided she wants to go viral now. She said, everybody's been asking me for a selfie. She said, I'm going to go viral for the cruise line.
She's the perfect person to do that.
Yeah. So now I see it. Of course, the cruise is over, and I see her posting on Facebook, and like 3 people, her and her mom and her best friend, are the only ones liking it, but she's determined to go viral.
I love her spirit. I love it. I love it.
Yep. But other than that,
that's the first time I've heard that story.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we took away from the cruise and travel is that one day we will all get our school counselors friends together and do something.
That was one of the things. I was sitting there and I was thinking, who needs a cruise? School counselors, because of everything that we have to deal with, and just we never turn it off. And so getting away for a week where you don't have access to your email, you don't have access to your phone, any of that stuff, I thought we need that.
We need that.
And so I thought we've got to schedule a cruise. So we'll put a poll. If we did a Counselor Accents cruise, would you be tempted to attend?
Absolutely. Oh,
we're putting a poll.
I thought I was the first one. Yeah, I'll go.
Well, let's talk about something that we have coming up
that we've been working on all day today.
Yep. We have, the thing is, one of the main questions that we're asked when we go out places or when we get emails, it's about behaviors. Yeah. Behaviors have escalated across the nation, and people that have been in education for 40 years, people that have been in education for 4 months, we're all scratching our heads saying, okay, what do we do now? So we have decided to host a virtual behavior conference. We're calling it Behavior Detour Conference because that's what it feels like educators across the nation have had to do. You think you're on one track. You think that education is going to look one way, but then we're all having to take a detour. And how many times have you had a conversation with a teacher who has said, I didn't go to school to be a counselor. I didn't go to school to be a special ed teacher, but that's what I'm doing every day.
That's exactly. We hear it all the time, and rightly so, because we're not prepared. Educators are not prepared. No one expected. We knew that behaviors were already heading in a direction, and then after COVID, it just expedited everything. And there's all kinds of social media. There's all kinds of reasons that we have for the change in behavior. And it's like I told a new teacher just Friday who is ready to I don't know if I can do this. The only people who are going to be ready to do this are those teachers who are growing up now, and this is going to be the world. But even if you just graduated, your professors that they're not they don't know. So to answer our question, we have been doing a lot of talking to a lot of leaders and asking them questions and asking them to help us and asking them to send us things or just to help us in our role as school counselors, and how we can help our administrators, how we can help our teachers. And so we thought, what better way than these top leaders? When I say top leaders, I mean the people who understand how the brain works and
strategies, rubber meets the road,
all the things. And so we were like, why would we not take the people we're asking the questions, who we love to listen to and they're fantastic, put them all in one conference for educators, because we feel like that meets a need. Mm-hmm. It meets a need for us, and it meets a need for educators.
Yeah.
So this will be, give us some details. The date is, so I'm looking at it all on the walls here.
We are launching this February 9th. So the sessions will be virtual. So that means on February 9th, you'll have access to the sessions. And like you said, these are from some of the top behavior leaders in the country. And then we'll have chats, online chats with some of the presenters. So you can ask some of your burning questions. Here's the thing that I want to say. We have an open call for proposals right now. We'll post the link in our show notes. You can also find it on our social media. But we feel like some of you listeners are going to have some behavior strategies and some wisdom to share. We are paying our speakers a stipend. If your session is selected, you will get a stipend. And one of the things I'm really excited about is you will get, if you decide to, we will give each of our speakers an affiliate link. So as a speaker, you can earn 50% back from your ticket sales. So if you share it out to your school, for example, and 10 of your teachers decide to sign up for the conference using your link that we assign you, then you get 50% of those ticket sales. So it's a really good deal as far as being a speaker. And then if you think, I don't know about speaking, but I really believe in this and I would like to share this, if you want just a link to share out without speaking, you'll get 25% of the sales from your affiliate link. So that's very exciting to me.
And if your district is looking for behavior PD or behavior ideas, if you make that happen for your district, think about how much would come back for you. So you're helping yourself and you're helping others at the same time. And that's what this is all about. It's about everybody sharing in that.
Because this isn't just a school counseling conference. This is, we're hoping, an answer to some of the questions that educators in general have been asking. We know that it will be an answer to some of the questions that educators in general have been asking. So this is not just for school counselors. So think bigger than school counselors.
Absolutely. Because school counselors are kind of the gatekeepers for mental health and social emotional learning. That's what we're looked to for answers. But now it's teachers are looking for answers, and certainly principals and district leaders. Everybody is looking to, and it has, some of these folks that we're going to have has been a game changer for my school and for my district. So just by me being aware of it and being able to share that out. So some of these same people, I thought, why are we not going broader, sharing some of this information with everybody? So it's a great way to make money, but also more importantly is a great way to help our students and for you to be seen as a leader as school counselors or educators.
Yeah. So based on when you're listening to this, the call for proposals will close on November 10th. So I don't know when you're listening to this. If it's January and you're just now catching this, send us an email.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to present,
we'll see. I mean, yeah, I don't know how that would work, but we want all the good and all the people who can attend, especially, to get signed up. So be looking for the sign up information. There will be an early bird through November and December.
Yeah.
And then you might want to try to get in on that. We know that a lot of people have their purchase orders and different things right now. So you might want to think about that for this behavior. But I think it could be I know it will be a game changer in your educational life.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going to post all the things because I won't.
I will.
You're going to put all the things.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
All right. So you can follow us on Instagram, where we'll be sharing out more information about this conference. You can sign up for our email list, where we'll be sharing more information about this conference. You can join us on Facebook, join our Facebook group. You can also purchase our book, Growing Your Program for School Counselors. That's been so much fun having a book released. And thank you all for the pictures you've been putting out on social media and the tagging us in those. That has been just a highlight for us to read those. Anything else?
I think that's it. Stay tuned more about our office and our little space. I hope we can show more of where we're at, what we're doing. But
And Handsome Bob, if you're listening, I know a lady who is a hot mom.
oh, oh, I hear what you're doing. The lady from the cruise,
Yes, yes.
a hot mom and handsome man. We're gonna get y'all together.
Yeah.